Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. Peter Parker is one such person who had greatness thrust upon him. So when that great power and that great responsibility is laid on his shoulders, how does he react to it? Let's dig deep. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin. This is my theological analysis for The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Spoilers ahead for this movie. I am so excited for Spider-Man Homecoming that I thought I'd go to the Spider-Man franchise that came right before Homecoming and dig deep into that, starting right here with The Amazing Spider-Man 1. One of the things I love about Spider-Man is he is an obtainable character. Superman is my favorite superhero of all time, but can we just take a moment and get honest here? Sometimes Superman is super hard to relate to. Super hard to relate to. See what I did there? I mean, he's an alien. He's from another planet, and he has godlike powers. Okay? Like, at no point is he really technically even human. That can be hard to relate to, because how can we obtain that? Batman is a bit more obtainable, because through training and things like that, we could possibly become Batman. We could possibly do that, and we could understand his motivation. But he does have something that a lot of us don't have.
$1 million.
Multi-billions of dollars, limitless funds. But let's take a look at Peter Parker. He doesn't have godly powers. He's not from another planet. And guess what? He doesn't have multi-billions of dollars, and he wasn't trained by Ra's al Ghul in a faraway, place somewhere. No, he's this normal kid. He's somebody absolutely obtainable. And we can understand him. We can understand his mindset very, very well. He's a teenager in high school. So he's searching for his identity. He's searching for his place in this world. He's searching for where he belongs. On top of the fact that in this movie, you see that as a toddler, his mom and his dad, they left him. We know why they left him. It was for very good, solid reasons to protect him. But he doesn't know that. In his mind, he's thinking, am I not good enough? Why did you abandon me? Why did you just leave me here with my aunt and uncle? Why am I not good enough for you?
Where's my dad? He didn't think it was his responsibility to be here to tell me this himself.
Oh, come on, how dare you?
How dare I? How dare you?
That kind of stuff and that kind of hurt is inside. So that makes Spider-Man, in a sense, relatable, and it makes him obtainable because we can relate to that pain. We can relate to that place in life that he's at. He is a normal guy. And then following his dad's research in this movie, he gets to Oscorp, he gets to where his dad's spiders are, and he gets bit by the radioactive spiders. We get the typical Spider-Man origin story where he becomes Spider-Man. But what I like about this story is I think it takes Spider-Man, not only does it make him very relatable, but it shows you a very important truth. See, the first trilogy had a great phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, that Tobey Maguire trilogy. It's a great one. This movie, they tried to say that same thing without using those same words. And a few scenes, that kind of just comes out as awkward.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
But your father lived by a philosophy, a principle, really. He believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things.
But it's a great saying, and the concept behind it is great, and it works well with Spider-Man. So I'm glad that they did the best that they could to throw that in there. Because honestly, look, if you have an orange and you put the squeeze on it, orange juice is going to come out because that's what's inside the orange. Life is full of trials and tribulations. It's full of squeezes. And when the squeeze and the pressure's on, what's really inside of us and what's really at our core is what's going to come out. And the truth is, not a single one of us is perfect. Look at Peter Parker in this movie. He is not perfect. So when he gets bit by this radioactive spider, what's one of the first things he does? He picks on the school bully, Flash. Early in this movie, we saw the germ of that great thing that is in his heart, where a kid was being bullied by Flash, and Peter Parker, powerless, stands up to the bully. But now we have Peter Parker with power, and he doesn't just stand up to the bully, he actively pursues humiliating the bully. That whole scene with the basketball court, it was hilarious and it was great, but it was a scene to show you this is what's inside. The responsibility was laid on Peter's shoulders, greatness was thrust upon him, but now the squeeze is on and what's inside is coming out. So that hurt from that bully came out, and he wasn't standing up to the bully. No, he was humiliating him. He was looking to get even, but he really was looking to offset the scales and be far above. I mean, seriously, that has to be that motivation when you look at that. And then he gets in a fight with Uncle Ben, a fight about his father, who he's been thinking about a lot, because he's been doing a lot of stuff at Oscorp with his father's research and things like that. He's been learning more about his father. It's been picking at that wound. It's been opening those things up. Those thoughts have been on his mind more. So he and Uncle Ben have a very emotional fight. Peter storms off. He goes to get some milk, just milk, and he's 2 cents short. And the clerk dude is just, not only is he not letting him have the milk because of being 2 cents short, he's being a jerk about it. He really is. There's no excuse for that clerk. I get why Peter would be mad there.
But Daddy didn't give you enough milk money today?
But all that stuff is already building and creating this, like, horrendous fire inside, right? And now he can't have milk? So, of course, when the clerk gets robbed, he's not going to do anything. He's just angry. But because he didn't do anything, I mean, this is at least his thinking, because he didn't do anything, Uncle Ben was shot and killed. So all of this keeps building till finally that dam breaks. It's interesting because we think he puts on the suit to be a hero, but when you look at Amazing Spider-Man, he doesn't put on the suit to be a hero. He puts on the suit because he realizes he doesn't want the thugs to be able to recognize his face. Because he's out for blood, he's out for vengeance, he's not out to be a hero, he's not out to stop crime, he's not out to be a crime fighter. He's out to get the guy that killed his uncle. He's not stopping random crimes, he's searching for people that match the description of his uncle's killer. It's vengeance. His core is filled with pain, it's filled with hurt, and he's acting out of his core. He's acting out of what's inside. So when the power was given to him, it became the vehicle that he can use to take care of that pain, to go out there and do that. But Spider-Man is a beacon of hope. And I think in this movie, he's a beacon of hope. Because at the beginning of this, we see places of great immaturity. We see stumbles. We see falls. We see how not perfect he is. Now we get to a scene where we see our hope pictured. That things can change. No matter what mistakes, no matter what the past, things can change. The core of what's inside can change. It can change because you have Spider-Man in the bridge scene where the lizard first shows up and he's thrown the cars off the bridge and Spider-Man is webbing up the cars to stop them. Well, and one of those cars was this little boy and his dad is saying, "Please help my son, please help my son." So Spider-Man goes to help his son. This is the first moment in this movie where Spider-Man is not pursuing his own agenda. I mean, the scene before, he's in a fight with Gwen Stacy's dad defending Spider-Man. He's like, "Well, Spider-Man stopped that car thief because it was the right thing to do and he did your job for him." And the cop's like, "No, we were following him. We have this thing called strategy, and he was going to lead us to their base of operations, and we were going to bust all of them and put an end to it." And Spider-Man ruined the whole thing single-handedly because he didn't think, and he thinks he could just jump in there. And you know what? Peter was trying to defend himself, but he was there for vengeance. He was not there to stop crime. He was there for vengeance. This is the first scene where he's not pursuing his vengeance. It's the first scene he's not pursuing his self-interest. It's the first scene he's pursuing something greater than himself. He's pursuing something beyond himself. And because of that, it's the scene where he finds himself. He saves the kid. He reunites father and son. And we can understand why his series with fathers, losing Uncle Ben, losing his father, why a father-son reunion would reach down into his core. But we can understand that. And when that reached into his core, something deep inside fundamentally changed. The very next scene, he's sitting in his room, he's staring at his mask, and we know that's the moment where he's looking at it and he's thinking, this could be more. This could have real meaning, and this can have real purpose. So the core of what's inside of him changed. If you notice, as we go forward with this film, does it go back to talking about Uncle Ben's murderer? No. I mean, we reference the pain, yeah, but he doesn't ever again pursue anybody that matches the description of Uncle Ben's killer because his core was changed. It's now not vengeance. It's now not that's operating inside. Does he have pain? You bet. Is he still struggling with those things he struggled with? Yeah. But the core changed. So his mode of operation changed. He rethought why he put on the mask. He rethought what that mask could even mean. And it became something different from that point in the movie onward. Spider-Man became our hope that things can change. You know, something Jesus said is, in the world you will have tribulation. I mean, we're just born into a fallen world. The squeeze is here. The tribulation is here. And what's inside is what's going to come out. And Jesus said this, though, "But take heart, because I have overcome the world." All that pain, all that torment, all that bad stuff that could get into our core, We can take courage because he's already overcome it. But it's amazing because when Jesus comes into our lives, he does give us a new heart. He takes out that heart of stone and gives us that heart of flesh that is responsive to his touch. In other words, he's taken out that old callous thing and he puts something in that is brand new, a brand new creation altogether. So out of this new core comes new actions. So even though we might still be dealing with some pain, even though we might still be dealing with issues, even though to some degree we might be still trying to find ourselves, when we let Jesus in, things change and a new core is now in there. And I feel like Spider-Man is a great picture of what that looks like, operating from an old core of vengeance and hurt and all of that stuff, looking to get even, looking to just stand on top of that bully, but in the end that never would have given him satisfaction. And I'm glad he never got that satisfaction, never got that moment to realize that that would have still have left him completely empty, like Tobey Maguire found out in the first Spider-Man movie. So the core needs to change, and I found in my life, in that relationship with Jesus, he's the one that changes the core. He's the one that changes what is deep on the inside of me, so something better starts coming out when that pressure is on. And so when I'm watching The Amazing Spider-Man, that's a picture I see. That's something that it points me to, that hope, that no matter how many mistakes I made, no matter what's in my past, all of that can change in a heartbeat. Further away than the east is from the west. That's how far away God removes our sins from us. In other words, he forgets it, man. It's gone. It's no longer a factor. Just like that criminal was no longer a factor for the whole second half of the movie. It's no longer a factor. He's forgiven it. It's gone. Okay, now that's out of the way. New heart, new mode of operation. There's always hope. Change is always there, and the past doesn't dictate who we're going to become. What was in us before doesn't have to dictate what's in us now, and doesn't have to dictate what we're going to become. When I watch The Amazing Spider-Man, probably because of what's inside me, that's a picture I see, that picture of hope, that change, real change can happen on the inside, and my past mistakes don't have to dictate my future. What did you see when you watched The Amazing Spider-Man? Make sure to let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button to become a Durbania, and next to that subscribe button is that bell. Click that bell, that way you are notified the moment I drop new videos. Check out the other great videos I got here, Theological Analyses, movie reviews, both spoiler talk and spoiler free, trailer reactions, all kinds of great stuff. So make sure you check that out, like and share this video. I'm Durbin, thank you for checking out Durbania.